Hello. Today's story is my official apology to my room commander when I was in the Army. We're going to call her Sister Christian. She's going to be so mad at me for that. That's awesome. So, one word of warning, this does have a Bible reference. And if any of you are interested, I use, when I reference the Bible, which is a little bit, I use the Greek interlinear, so if you want to, go, that's not the quote or anything, it's the Greek interlinear. I think that if you're going to follow the Bible, that one should be it. So, anyways, let's go ahead and set the stage. I'm in Korea. It's 95, 96, 97-ish. Don't remember much. And our captain, I'll use his name, really happy, because I'm not protecting the innocent with that one. His name was Captain Davis, and he was a jerk. He was a horrible human being. He hated women. He had no care for anyone. And so, yeah, he should not have been in our unit. We were a commo unit. He was, I think, an infantry captain. I don't know why he was there. But either way, so he was a complete jerk. And I was, let's just say I'm a little cocky at that time. So you pretty much have two very strong personalities. He was obviously a superior officer to my enlistedness, which he automatically took as a weakness. He was wrong. He hit on me, and I told him in my most colorful cricket manner, no. So this made him angry. He was just getting worse and worse and worse. So, in one of my awesome moves, I wrote on our message board. You know how doors will have message boards when you live in the barracks and that type of thing. And I used the quote from Revelations 19:18. And it said, actually, it'll go down to 17:18. So Revelations 19:18. And in the middle of it, it says, he was talking to an angel. And he said, "Come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of great God, that ye may eat the flesh of the kings, and eat the flesh of captains," or military commanders. I'm not sure which one I put in there. "And the flesh of mighty men," and it goes on. But pretty much that was it. Basically, God calling upon the birds to eat the flesh of the military commanders. He was our commander at the time. He was also deathly afraid of birds. We would be on a run. Birds would come out of a bush. He would be ducking. I mean, it was our only joy. Really our only joy. So I put this scripture on my message board. And I come in one day, and it's literally, my message board is gone. It's been ripped off my door. You can see one of the nails are sticking out, and I'm like, So I go into my room, and then my room commander, Sister Christian, oh, she's gonna be mad at me for that, comes in and goes, it was either her or someone else, but either way, I was called down to the captain's office. And I meet Sister Christian on the way down there, and she goes, "What's up?" I'm like, "Oh." But because she joined the military 1 month before I did, she got called in first. So I see her go in there, and I hear a loud and thunderous drop, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" So I know what, just kind of waiting there. And I hear lots of yelling, and poor Sister Christian's voice is just kind of in the background going, "I don't know I've been in the field." Now let's pause. While I was putting this message on my board, Sister Christian was out in the field. She'd probably been there, I don't know, I think it was like 2-3 weeks. It seemed like forever. She'd been that long without a shower. She didn't have time to put her weapon up. So when she had to drop, she had to support her weapon on her hands. She is dirty, she is filthy, she is miserable, she hasn't slept well, and suddenly she's getting pulled back into the captain's office and getting screamed at as far as I know. All I know is things are going bad. So she comes out and she is, I mean, it's about 15, 20 minutes, and she comes out and she goes, looks me dead in the face and goes, dude, you are fucked. And so I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh no, I don't want to get kicked out of the army. I don't want to have to go home. But if I'm going down, it's going to be in flames. So I walk in there, stand at attention. And of course, the first sergeant, he tells me to drop instantly. And so I'm in the push-up position. And he's asking if I'm threatening him. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't know. And so he makes reference to the board. And I'm getting tired. I don't want to be in the push-up position anymore. I've done like at least 10 push-ups. I'm done. So I'm like, well, can I get up? Let me show you. And he's like, you can tell he's intrigued. Like, what could you possibly say? So I grab the board and I start reading it, Vanna White style. And so I'm holding this board. I'm like, and he called upon the birds to eat the flesh of the military commanders. And so I read it and I set it down. I'm like, Captain Davis, have you ever read the Bible? And you can see, like, the veins were already there, but they're even more there. And he's like, yes, I've read it a couple times. And I'm like, so I don't know if you're a believer or not. No, we need to pause. I am not of the Christian faith, so that actually adds to a lot of this audacity that I had. So I pause. Back. So I asked him, have you read the Bible? He said, I have actually a couple times. I'm like, well, actually through this, I'm trying to save your life. And you can see the wheels turning and everyone's brains are like, how? I'm like, well, we both know that if North Korea decided they were going to attack, you would be the first person to die of friendly fire. You know it. And I know it. So basically what I'm doing is I'm letting everyone know that they don't have to shoot you because God will deal with you. No one could say anything. He's literally sitting on the desk, just rubbing his head because it's like, because some of it was true. He was hated. He was hated by almost every person there. It was so well known. So as I start, backing out, and he goes, take that board. I'm like, okay. And he goes, and right before I exit, he goes, and no more message boards. And I'm like, okay. So as I'm walking out, Sister Christian looks at me and goes, what happened? And we're just walking, and I'm like, we can't have boards anymore. That was the look on her face. We're walking. I'm just as smooth as can be. And she's like, because she just spent 15, 20 minutes of complete hell. And I spent maybe 5 and I come out as cool as a cucumber. And so actually that story does have a bit of a climax. However, there's a little bit more. So shortly after that, Captain Davis decided he was going to get me kicked out of the military. I think it's a Chapter 13, Conduct Unbecoming of a Soldier. He had things in there like I fell out of a run. I bounced a couple checks at 21 years old. That's kind of a normal thing. Someone I was dating was black marketing some things, and so I got pulled in and questioned about that. No disposition, might I add. So nothing happened with me. It was, so he was using all this stuff, and I finally am sitting down and I'm talking with the base commander, with Camp Casey commander. And he's asking me, he's like, so what's going on here? I'm like, this guy is horrible. He's asked me out on a date. He is rude to everyone. He is horrible. Like this man is so horrible, and it's not just me. And so they ended up putting up like this hotline where people could call and they could give their anonymous report of what Captain Davis had done to them. And at that time, I was actually on leave. I was on my mid-tour leave. I was supposed to go home to the States. I couldn't because I was under a chapter. I was getting chaptered and I was fighting it. I was writing my rebuttal. So I didn't have the opportunity to go home. So I spent 18 months straight. That is a year and a half away from my daughter, who I dropped off when she was a year and a half old. So I'm going to drop off my year and a half old daughter, pick her up when she is 3. So yeah, I have absolutely no problems using Captain Davis's name. I can't even remember his first name, otherwise that would go out there too. Still a little salty and bitter about that one. But anyway, so I put in my rebuttal. Now, I don't know how many people called in. I do know that I got brought into the office. It was the first sergeant's office, and I was told that my rebuttal was approved, that Captain Davis was taken off the majors list. He will never again be able to be in charge of staff. And he did tell me that I was going to be moved to Camp Red Cloud. He said this is not a punishment, it is just a separation. We need to get you in two separate areas. You are not in any sort of trouble. So I did get some my good out of that. And but yeah, so there is probably the only story that will ever have a big climax of sorts. To my room commander, I am very sorry.